Future Phil here. Just explaining something about the video which isn't really clear at first. I decided not to camp because, silly reason, the piercing in my ear, the ball went inside my ear, and I knew it was in there because I could actually see it, but I wasn't going to try to poke it and get it out. So I didn't want to risk, while camping, waking up in the middle of the night with agony, possibly not be able to walk properly because my balance was affected. So it just wasn't worth the risk. So I said, okay, I'll just go for a walk around Bolehill Quarry. When I mentioned it to Benny, Benny said straight away, oh, can I come? So there was a bonus to it. So that's what we did. On with the video.
In today's video, we're back at the quarry. Today we're going to look at the layout of the quarry. How did it get here? Why is it like this? Why did they use this place? But we're also going to look at how did they move the stone around? And the main thing is this little trick behind me. It's quite an impressive feature, this. It's about probably a 40-degree angle. There have been two railway tracks side by side, with a rope coming up to the top and going to that structure you can see there, which would have had a big drum in the middle of it. The rope goes around the drum and then back down onto the other train, so one goes down and one goes up, using gravity to pull it down, the drum to break it. There were two stops halfway down, one on each side, so if the train was on a runaway, if the rope snapped, then some unfortunate individual whose job it was could flick the junction and the train would veer off to one side and crash rather than going all the way to the bottom. Sadly, 3 people lost their lives, and one of them was on this inclined plane with a wagon that got away. That wouldn't have been a very pleasant sight. So the secret to this site is understanding that all the stone was moved around by trains, and to move 20 and 30 ton blocks of Millstone Grit around, you need a wagon with some locomotives, and they need very slight inclines and flat areas. And what you can see all around me is one of those flat terraces. This is the one that's directly at the top of the inclined plane, which is behind me just there. And if you look behind to where the pulley wheels were, straight behind it is a gorge, which no doubt was some unfortunate team's job for the week. You can just imagine the foreman saying, now then lads, I need to get a train through there, can you move that stone? But they had to chisel all that stone, which would have gone, it would have gone to the dams, and put a rail track in there so they can move the trains up to the next level. We're going to keep going through the site looking at all the different levels. And here we have the intrepid geocacher in his home environment. And he's on the hunt, and he's warm. Has he got it? Yay! So still on this terrace now, you can see it runs along there. But then look, there's another sloping pathway going up to the next level, which goes around what I think is a natural feature there, up to a higher terrace. There are some bits, like, don't know if you can see behind these trees in front of me, where I think that's a spoil heap. That's just stuff they couldn't get rid of, so they've left it there. Now, a lot of the stone that was left over from when they were quarrying, the smaller bits, which I think, well, that's just not worth worrying with, they also took that, and that was used as infill in the middle of the dam. So I'm going to put a map, or a couple of maps, up on the screen now. First of all, showing an early map from before the quarry, showing the edge, when it was known as Bolehill Quarry. And the quarry is the small bit at the end. And then a much later map showing the quarry when they have finished. And you can see that this wall of stone behind me here has been cut back quite significantly. And we're about to go onto the main working face, where the 2.4 million tonnes of Millstone Grit were taken for the dams. This was the whole purpose of this site. here you see the 600-foot long face of the quarry, and the stone has been cut back from that mound there all the way back to there. So all of this is now part of Howden and Derwent Dams. Yet another gorge behind me onto this terrace here, and leading onto the big face of the quarry, which is the one you can see behind me. So here we have the main part of the quarry. And when I spin you around in a short while, you will see that we're looking at 70 feet of rock that has been removed, a distance of maybe 100 feet. So you can see that face behind me there. And looking at the map, all of this 600-foot section has had that stone taken out. So this is where the giant amount of stone was taken out for the dams. 400 men worked for over a decade in this quarry, and at the end of that time, that's it, it was closed. There was talk at one point of developing it as a housing estate. Goodness knows how they could do that. There's also been talk of it being reopened as a slate mine, but that's didn't happen. So it was gifted to the National Trust, and we can enjoy it now. Definitely a place worth coming. Really messed that one up. Catch you on the next video. See ya.
Well, thank you for staying till the end to watch that video. I hope you found it interesting and was a topic that you really liked. If you like the historical and the fact part of it, then you might be interested in the video just up here, which is the when I camped at Cluther Rocks, which is also a quarry, and found some really interesting stones. This video just here is when I actually camped at this site last week, and it's a really